Trails mountain high on 26 slopes. They have well-groomed snow on a fast, firm base. Snow Valley on 17 trails. Mammoth got 3 inches of fresh snow overnight, a foot and a half since the weekend. I'm Chuck Devine on KMET 1490 AM.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
That's right. It's the time to do the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and however else you can find us. Alexa app, you could just say, Alexa, I'd like to listen to KMET 1490 AM, and or, of course, the morning show right there each and every weekday, available for your tuning in. We're also on the SoundCloud app. Don't forget to download that and or just visit KMET 1490 AM on all social media platforms. On today's show, super excited, a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about a book from Dad's Publishing. And it's a book which is named His Own Way, Promoting Understanding, especially when it comes to a young boy, written by the oldest daughter's perspective on herself having an autistic brother. And so I can't wait to talk about this. The book, as you can see, is right there. And I believe that's the youngest daughter's drawing of her brother. So very cool, very good. And I can't wait to talk about this again. I've often attended events where we support Autism Speaks and other such organizations that help out not just children but adults with severe and or learning disabilities. And as I always say, every child is unique in their own way and they learn in their own way. And I am a very big proponent of and supporter of those families that try to get the information that they need in order to help their children be successful adults and then some. So for those that have questions about what it is like to be autistic and or have a friend or family member that has one, it's always something that you want to definitely be very not just okay. Let me give you an example. We one time, or I should say, I met one time Aiden Quinn, who at the event that he was at, it was a Red Premiere event with Andy Garcia, Luke Goss, and a few others. He very adamantly described how his own child had been perfectly fine, but then at the end of a vaccination way back when, his child did develop a form of autism. And I remember thinking at that point, I had not heard of the vaccination problem being a situation for young children. Yet autism is on the rise. If you do the numbers and the math based on historical numbers in the past, you've got a different type of when somebody says one is has autism or is on the autism disorders, what do they call it? The spectrum. There's a wide spectrum. So there's very severe autism, and then there's mild autism to and then there's savants, and then there's Asperger's, and there's just so many different labels of it. The question always is, well, to what degree is one? So, is their environment one in which, they need to have very much calm energy and or calmness? Too much stimulation could cause a problem, cause an inability to understand what's going around the individual, and or sometimes there's functioning autism as well. There's so many different levels of it. And I think this book, written by the daughter, and I believe the publishing company we're going to be talking to a while in a bit, has quite a few other books as well. But this book definitely rings home. So I'm so glad we get to talk to the dad of this beautiful family who has been doing this for quite some time. Sergio Liddon's going to be joining us around the corner on Skype, and I'm excited about that. First of all, I got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
And social media. A lot of people got questions over there. Let's go to social media really quick and or statements. Maria says, good morning, everyone. What a lovely sunny day. Stephanie says, hello, happy editing. This glorious sunshine. Awesome, busy day ahead. Viviana says, good morning. Rosalie says, good morning. Good to have each and every one of you check in with us. Okay, so question today, Jesse, is National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day, National Cheesesteak Day, and or National Equal Pay Day. Of these, which will you celebrate this day?
Well, I don't know too much about the Equal Pay Day. I don't know how it started. Let's go with something simple. Let's go with Chocolate Covered Raisin Day.
Like, I don't want to. It's too early in the morning to have a discussion like that. I need my caffeine. Yes, National Chocolate Raisin Day. Do you love your chocolates and or raisins? In some countries, chocolate covered raisins are known as Raisinets. Raisinets produce the first and one of the most popular brands of the product, currently made by Nestle. They're the largest third selling candy in the United States history. Did you know that, Jesse?
I did not know that.
I didn't either. That's pretty interesting. The Blumenthal Chocolate Company introduced the Raisinets to the U.S. in 1927. And then in 1984, Nestle acquired the brand. A large number of other brands produce chocolate-covered raisins for us to enjoy. Raisins are an excellent source of calcium, potassium, iron, fiber, and vitamin B. When you combine the raisins with dark chocolate, you have a great tasting, healthy snack. So there you go. Of course, you could just have raisins by themselves. There's chocolate-covered raisin cookies, easy chocolate-covered raisins in a crock pot, and deluxe oatmeal Raisinets cookies. So if you've been thinking about putting your raisins to good use, there you go. You know, some people actually don't like raisins, Jesse.
Well, yeah, I can see how that would be. They look weird.
They do, right? Yeah. So there you go. So raisins have the. Do you remember the dun 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 dun? Remember that? You know, is that before your time? The dancing raisins. Do you remember that?
You're talking about the California raisins?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I own the video back in the days. I used to watch it all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had like a little claymation video that talked about like the history. It was fun. I love it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So there you go. All right. So there you go. That's the raisins in your family. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Does it matter? Yes, it does, because I think you need to enjoy and or love them. So there you go. Chocolate Raisin Day or Chocolate Covered Raisin Day. Get some for your entire family. Yum, 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 yum. All right. Jesse, you got a story over there. What's going on?
Yeah, so I was following this story since Monday, but I actually didn't think it was real. Well, I knew it was real, but I didn't think it would actually make the papers. So what would be the weirdest thing you find in your box of cereal?
Raisins. Sorry.
Oh, so
This is Raisin Bran, which I happen to love. Go ahead.
that's true. So this man, his name is Jensen Karp. He ate a bowl of cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and he proceeds to eat another bowl and notices something flopped out.
Wait. When you say flopped out, like crawled out, flopped out, and or just describe for me.
It flopped out. It was a shrimp tail. Like he took pictures of it. Exactly. It was a shrimp tail encrusted with sugar.
Oh, that's nasty. Oh.
And I'm just horrified. I'm like, oh my, I have to look at every bowl of cereal now because I can't trust anything.
Well, at least it was covered in sugar and it wasn't like flopping. I mean, it didn't flop around is my point, right?
Oh, it didn't flop around. I just said it flopped out, but because it was funny because it was a tail.
I'm looking at those like somebody had some on the lunch break, right? And like had some shrimp and they just kind of tossed it and it went into the production line. Is that what happened?
Nobody knows yet. They're still investigating. Now, shrimp tails wasn't the only thing that was in the bag. Apparently he found some like floss, some string.
Oh.
A lot of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch squares had black dots on them that looked like baked in.
I
have no idea what they were. He sent it to a lab to get it tested. But I'd rather not. He was like, I was reading his tweets. He was like, I'd rather not know what it is right now or speculate because I have OCD, and it would.
Oh,
I'm already thinking on what it is, and I don't even want to think about what it is.
oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. You know what all I got to say is that I guarantee you they could send him like free cereal for a month and he wouldn't eat it, right?
I would not eat it. I don't know. I'm Cinnamon Toast Crunch is one of my favorite cereals, so I'm just like I'm horrified right now.
You know what, Jesse? I can't even. I don't. Okay, so I like what's the one with the sugar on the not the shredded wheat, but the one, the little guy. He turned me on to those. He was 6 and 7 at the time, and I'm like, what are these things? I can mini wheats or mini. I don't know
The
if they,
mini wheats,
which ones.
the frosted mini wheats.
Yeah. Oh, those are so good. Seriously, put that in a bowl. I don't do I do almond milk now, so I'll put that in a bowl. Man, oh, night and or day, I am just like, give me some of that. That'll hold me over. But sorry, I don't know how to turn this dumb alarm off. None of my phones are working right. So anyway, okay, look, Jesse. Quick question though. Have you ever had a cup of milk, and then you have a little bit of something in your mouth swirling around going, help me, I'm stuck?
No, where are you going with this?
You got to look in the cups before you pour the milk, because sometimes silverfish can crawl in, and that silverfish I think is traumatized till this day. There you go. We're going to take another break here on the morning show. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. It was nasty. I can't even have a glass of milk without going, what's in this cup? Poor silverfish. Ooh, it's tasty. Now I'm stuck in the hole of black holeness of what's the bad breath? That's disgusting.
Top Line Industrial Supply, your destination for industrial tools and supplies. We make hoses while you wait, hydraulic, air, water, and custom brake lines. Take advantage of our large selection of fasteners from grade 5 to grade F911 and a full line of stainless steel bolts. Our no-cost outside shop service keeps you stocked at no extra charge. Come by one of our 2 convenient locations in Beaumont and Temecula and visit top-lineindustrial.com. At Top Line Industrial, we don't just sell products. We sell solutions.
Don't let insurance companies make decisions for you. Go to Pass Auto Center in Banning, your one-stop repair facility with full collision repair, auto maintenance, service, and an authorized smog center. You'll also find a full-service used car lot to fit every budget with the right vehicle for you. Trade-ins are accepted and they pay cash for your car. Pass Auto Center at 2609 West Ramsey in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway between Sunset and 22nd. Call 951-849-7878.
Beljanski supplements and herbal teas, widely used in Europe, now the Beljanski formulas are available in the United States. Used by athletes, fashion models, the former president of France, and those in the know. Beljanski supplements and herbal teas can work for you. Call 212-308-7066. That's 212-308-7066. Visit our center in New York City. Our website is www.maisonbeljanski.com. That's www.maisonbeljanski.com. Feel better naturally. Beljanski formulas.
Are you a self-published author that maybe underestimated the challenges of marketing your own book? I'm Suzanne Lynn, and we help authors sell more books through video interviews and radio advertising. You see, a professional video interview is really an author's secret weapon for marketing because it makes an emotional connection with your reader that can be posted to social media, YouTube, your book's landing page and website, your Amazon author page, and even sent to media to request interviews. We guarantee that video interview will be viewed by a minimum of 3,000 people in your target audience. And let's face it, no one can sell your book better than you speaking about it yourself. Plus, we can run commercials on our nationwide network of radio stations that targets your specific reading audience. Find out more at givemybookwings.com. That's givemybookwings.com. Again, givemybookwings.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMT 1490 AM. Glad to have each and every one of you with us. Again, coming up around the corner, his own way. Super excited to talk about this story, especially from the perspective of a young sister. Always good. Again, I know growing up, I had the perspective as a young older brother for my younger sister who doesn't have autism but has much more severely disabling I would say non-abilities. But she is safe. Again, she gets 24/7 care. And I always talk about her and about all the young children that, of course, sometimes have a very difficult time growing up and or otherwise. So super excited about this. And I can guarantee you're going to want to pick this book up maybe for you and or your family, especially if you have maybe some young ones who maybe do not understand why little Johnny or little Sarah has certain situations going on. So we'll talk about that around the corner. Super excited about that. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. And Jesse, quick question. If you got a chance to get paid to live rent free and to do so by doing something kind of fun, which even though I know you don't drink alcohol, would you want to sign up for it?
Yeah, that sounds fun. Drink alcohol. Fun. Am I gonna be a wino?
Whoa, I've heard that in a while.
That's the only thing I can think of that would be like tasting alcohol. Unless you're gonna tell me I'm gonna spend like a week at like a Jack Daniel's place.
Ooh, Murphy Good Winery announced a 1-year position with their team in Sonoma. Yes, if you are the lucky candidate, you get to move to sunny California, Sonoma, which I believe is a very nice location, by the way. You can live there rent-free for a year.
Wow.
And here's how they write it. I can guarantee you right now that I don't know. I was thinking of applying here. Have you always wanted to live in breathtaking Sonoma wine country with a $10,000 per month salary and rent free for a year?
I'll drink wine for 10 grand a month.
Do words like Cabernet, Rosé, and Chardonnay just roll off your tongue? They just did. I'll apply. Murphy Good's new hires should be ready to pursue their passion, according to the company. For the first few months, work duties are intentionally vast, allowing the new hire to figure out which aspects of winemaking they're interested in. Shadowing winemaker Dave Reddy Jr., the son of one of the company's founders, is part of the exploratory process. After this, Murphy Good wrote, "It will work with the new employee to define their passions and carve out their place in the wine world." You know, I'm not much of a wine connoisseur, but I could be forced to become one at 10,000. Well, let's see, 10,000. So that's $120,000 job, Jesse.
Right? And what do you know? Maybe you devise a wine that's easy to drink for newcomers. Because a lot of wines is rough.
Well, very heavy, dry. I think the dry is I'm very much at the high level, meaning I like the stuff that's very berry tasty. They say, what does they say? There's a term for it. I can never remember the terms. Not berry rich, but forward tasting, rich taste. I don't know. The drier it is, like it's like just I cannot. But depending on the meal that you have with it, will accentuate and or make the wine taste good. So it's weird how it works with your taste buds. They said we have a job that will instantaneously catapult you into the wine stratosphere. More potential job duties include acquiring knowledge of vineyards and winery operations and learning about the world of e-commerce. The company wrote that the hire will develop strong working relationships across functions of the winery and work with teams to drive awareness and build demand for Murphy Good Winery. I could build demand for Murphy Good Winery. Just look us up. The family-owned winery first launched the position in 2009 with an initial focus on documenting the jobs on social media. Totally could do that. The company, founded in 1985, decided to bring back the position this year as the country faces a new set of challenges. The application open to those, obviously, 21 years or older. Yeah. Authorized to work in the U.S., very important, requires a video resume explaining why the candidate believes this is their dream job. The company will evaluate applications on role value, creativity, and design, applicable experience, and skill set. Candidates can apply for the role from now until June 30th. Why doesn't this alarm go off? The job will roughly begin in September. The most important qualification for Murphy Goods, a really good job, is loving wine. The position includes 30 cases of it. If you want to apply, go to Murphy Good, Goode, winery.com. Look for a really good job and get it good with good. And there's 13 weeks. Let's see. Don't miss out on your dream job. 13 weeks. There's a countdown here. It's happening right here. Let me bring it up for our social media. If you're listening on the radio, you definitely got to find us on social media. We're pretty easy to find, but there it is. And there you go. So a really good job. If your answer to red or white is yes, please, we want to hire you. And there you go. Do you want to work and live in Sonoma wine country? Look at that with the beautiful balloon. I just want to live there. I don't care what I got to do. Just give it to me.
Right? I'll start to drink wine.
There's the count.
Learn to love it.
Which is kind of like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. If at the end of it, you're like, I need to go to rehab. Okay. Well, there you go, people. So, drink responsibly. There it is. Put your best foot forward. I think just deliver it free and get $10,000 a month and sign up right now. I'm going to apply. I'll be right back with more. Again, coming up around the corner. We'll stay tuned. But bye, everyone. I'm leaving this joint. Bye. I'm just kidding. I'll be right back.
Okay. I said it so you can talk to the dude.
Oh, thank you. All right. Yeah. I was like, why are you not going to commercial? I was getting a little too slap happy there. Sorry. All right. Let's get Sergio on here. I'm not a big wine connoisseur. I've gone to wine tastings and then I'm like, woo. I could be persuaded.
For 10 grand, I will.
10 grand a month, man. Seriously. I'll come up with my own. You know what? Yeah, I don't know. There's some people that actually package other people's wines. It's called white label. You just have to know how to market. All right, let's see. We got Sergio almost over there. Good morning, Sergio.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, we can hear everything over there. So let's see here. Let me get you on the screen in just a minute here. We're currently still streaming. Oh, I'm going to turn off here.
Okay, come in.
Could literally save women's lives, helping them catch breast cancer early, like they did with my mom. Donate today. 800-781-0965. That's 800-781-0965.
Welcome back. This is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, and much, much more. It's that time for our next guest. Yes, written by his daughter's perspective, his own way. Interesting book right here. We're going to be talking again to the family members here. Sergio Ledine here with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Sergio.
Good morning, Mr. Sanchez. How are you this morning?
Doing good, doing good. Sergio, I completely botched up your last name. How do you say it?
My last name is Swedish. I was born in Spain, but my last name is Swedish. I don't actually know how to pronounce it myself. So I say Ledine if you want to say Leiden, or Leidane as you said it. That's probably a better pronunciation.
I don't know. I picked it up from somewhere. But look, at the end of the day, this book, I understand, is making some heads turn. His Own Way is a very interesting publication about your son from your daughter's perspective. And I understand now that she's 18, though, she actually wrote this. How old was she at the time?
When I wrote this book, she was 4. My son was diagnosed, she was 5. My son was 3 years old when he was diagnosed with autism. She's 18 months apart. So she was about 5 years old when the problems started. At 4 years old, 1 year later, when my son was 4 and she was about 5.5, 6, that's when I started realizing the mistakes that I had made to an incredible degree. Autism in the United States, when my son was diagnosed at the age of 3, he's now 16, was 1 in 150 children in the United States were diagnosed with autism. Today, the numbers are 1 in 54.
Yeah.
Is it more testing, or is it, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But one of the things that one piece of information I did not get, I got the information on physical therapy, occupational therapy, my son freaking out. That was, a regular thing. If he didn't get his way, crying for bouts of 5 hours minimum. It was kind of crazy. So we were very much afraid for his safety and concerned about him, because we didn't know what happened to our life, what life for him was going to be like. Was it going to get any better? Doctors diagnosed him with severe autism. So we ignored our daughter for no other reason than the term is typical for a child that does not have a disability. She's typical. So we said, yeah, well, look, we're concerned about him. And for that year, I looked at some of the drawings that she was doing, and they got really sad. She loves to draw. So in the memory of those drawings, I decided to do this book. When I realized after 1 year what we had done, that we had emotionally devastated, I guess is the correct term, our daughter, with ignoring her. And that's one of the things that this book, when a woman is pregnant, she gets the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. But there's no book for autism that says what to do with the siblings of a child that has autism. Ignoring and neglecting them is something that we do as parents because we're concerned about one child. And that's something that we had to fix. And we fixed that gratefully, immediately. Just 1 year of being a really, really bad dad, concerned about one child and ignoring the other.
Well,
so
you know what? Can I just back you up
Please.
right there? I will say this, at least you're a present father. Okay. And the reason I say that is, and you probably don't know my current situation, but my sister has very, very, very special needs. I'm 3 years older than her. Okay. And I knew growing up, my sister needed all the attention in the world because she's not, I always tell people autism would be like a better thing for her because she's got profound deafness. She's partially blind. She can't speak. She can't utter words at all. Can your son at least utter words?
He's much better today.
Good.
He's a lot better today.
Good.
There was a time when feeding him. My wife fed him out of a bowl and a spoon. I had to feed him out of a different bowl and a different spoon. He wouldn't let anybody else feed them.
Yeah.
It was, the lack of communication, but we have that information. That information is available. There are organizations like Autism Speaks that provide information and assistance on how to deal with a child with autism, therapies, everything else. That's there for us. There is no cure for autism. All the information, all the research I've read says we hope, we think, where it comes from. We think, we hope, we believe. We think, we believe, and for future with regards to cures is we hope there's no definitive cure. Nobody definitively knows where it comes from. So we're on top of that one. This book is written from my daughter's point of view. At the age of 5, seeing her sibling that has autism, but doesn't quite understand it because she's 5. The beginning of the book is my
Right.
brother is autistic. It really is quite funny. It means he opens and closes doors all day and hops around like a bunny. Did he do that? Of course he did. I was scared to death. I stopped him from closing the door. I was afraid he was going to slam his hand. But after
Right.
5 hours of crying, I just realized I'll just put my hand in the door jamb to make sure that he doesn't hurt himself. And my daughter was kind of left to the side. So we have plenty of information on children with the disability. We have schools in Los Angeles, the help group in Los Angeles. Autism Speaks on a national level. It's internationally, it's huge. Canada, 1 in 44, Australia, 1 in 70. We have, but for the siblings, there's nothing out there. And I wish I was given this book when our son was diagnosed, so we would just remember. We must remember, the sibling. We must remember, Aaron Sanchez. For your sister, lots of love, and my heart goes out to her, to you, to your family. But for Aaron to be, there's a lot of responsibility that was thrown on my daughter's shoulders because she had to grow up kind of quickly.
But let me ask you this, though. Let me just put some perspective here for a minute.
Please.
I would imagine at 18, she's very caring and very responsible with it.
She has been so forever. With the book, the change that happens in their lives is because of the connection that, I'm sorry. Wow. I have Kleenex over here. I didn't think I would need it. I have it. It was the connection that they have as siblings.
Yeah.
As I don't know your situation, but I'm sure that the connection that you have with your sister is something that your parents could not bring forth. If they tried, if therapy could not bring forth, it was a connection that brother and sister has, regardless of whether there is or is not a disability. The connection that my son had to my sister, to my daughter. Sorry, I was talking about your sister. That my children have to each other is a deep love that they have for each other. Where my son started leaning on her. He did not eat solid food until he was 11. He started eating solid food because of her. He trusted her much more than he did us, because she was saying, you'll do it on your own time. In your own time will you move forward to the next step. And for us as parents, it was running to therapy 3 times a week for the different types of therapies, an hour each time, and constant trying to figure out the answer. Because as a parent, my fear is, gosh, when my children were born, I just wanted healthy. I didn't care about this. I just wanted healthy. And then to find out one of my children is what I believed was not with the diagnosis of autism scared me. And I needed to fix that because that's my job as a dad. And
and I'm glad. Okay, first of all, and I'm glad you're here talking about this. And I'm gonna share with you a couple of things as well, because I'm part of a couple of organizations. One's called Jewels of Youth organization, and what I often see is the opposite effect. Okay, often what I see is one of the parents is very in tune with the whole situation, and one is completely, I won't say neglectful, but kind of in a zone of that can't be my child. And so there's some that end up breaking up their divorce. Divorce is a high rate among those certain families, usually with the father stepping away and not being present. So I'm going to give you another big nod on that for being very present in that situation. Whereas most women sometimes have to do it themselves, because I've seen father just check out, like literally, and say, no, my child doesn't have a problem, and or just say, or this, that, and the other, and whereas you've been very present. So I'm going to speak to you as the father for other parents, okay? Because I find that the mothers are very much more nurturing than typically the fathers. But something that you just said was something very kind of key. When you first realized this was a situation that was a lifelong situation, that you're going to have to be able to mold the family's interests, what you do, how you do it, because I do understand too much stimulations, too many loud sounds, too much verbal communication, no proper regimen of things. If something's thrown off balance, that could create a whole day of problems, right? I know
it. Wow. Yes, one little thing, the day is gone. Forget it.
Yeah.
10% divorce rate is 10% higher with children with autism. It's much higher.
I'd say
the
15
divorce
to 20, but the people don't talk about it.
exactly. Those are the stats that I just got. The divorce rate is, and that's if they actually do get a divorce. The separation between, when parents have a child with, I have to blame my wife. She's at fault. She blames me. I'm at fault. This is not going right. This is her fault. If I were to say anything to parents with a child with a disability, maybe autism or whatever it is, stop blaming, move forward. It'll be okay. And, get on with it. Go towards the next step. Don't ignore the children that do not have the disability. Take care of that child with the disability. Do not ignore, do not neglect any of your children. And the reason I think that I was around is because of the childhood that I had. It was an incredibly violent childhood. I've been sober over 30 years. I'm 48 years old. And, in my teenage years, I ended up going to a group home, and there was this woman there by the name of Ellen Bradley who was there that accepted me for who I was and this weird kid that I was, kind of accepted. So on the cover, this book is about autism. It's about looking at somebody who's evidently different because of the behavior, the extreme behavior that is shown. But on the surface of it, this book is about accepting individuals for, instead of looking at the differences that we have as people, focus more on the connection that we have, connection in our humanity. This country's divided. I'm not going to go into politics. There's a division. Why are problems going on? Who cares? For that reason, I agree. I think one way, you think the other way, so I must hate you, which is the silliest thing, because we're all dealing, we are all looking, we're all struggling in some way, shape, or form. We all want to be happy. We all want to be loved. We all want to be nurtured. We all want to be accepted. My quirks, your quirks, we all have quirks. So the important thing is to accept each other in their own way. And so that's kind of the underlining tone of this book.
Can I ask you though, looking at your son's positive traits, because what I have found, even with my sister, like developmentally, she's nonverbal really, but it's funny that the home because we had to put her in a home, and at the age of I think 5 or 6, my parents had to take a very difficult stand on that, and they said she needs 24/7 care. We got to put her and so they visit her every single week. But during coronavirus, it's been very difficult. But the ones that take care of her say she's very organized. She's OCD. She takes care of the other kids. She tells them what to do in her nonverbal ways. And I'm like, there's a lot of good to be able to say she's still an individual. I view her still as a child, right? Because of her level of unable, but she's 3 years younger than me. I'm 43. And so she just, she's 40. But talking about your son, tell me about his good qualities, all of his good abilities, working past that, and what you've been able to do, probably that you didn't think you'd be able to accomplish.
Thank you for asking that question. It's understanding that my son just does things his own way was something that helped me a lot. Something that I started understanding, 13 years ago when I wrote the book. And the patience, the sweetness, the kindness, the loving, he's period, end of sentence. That's how he is. He does not we've obviously changed our lives and the way we do things, checking before we go out. We used to go to Disneyland with annual passes. They got rid of one in the past. Yeah. They got rid of one. They had a pass where you could go to the front of the line. He cannot stand in line. People were abusing that, so they got rid of it. We have not yet been able to go to Disneyland, so I cannot go to Disneyland. I'm not going to go there because I know that's something that would drive him nuts. So
I can't believe they got rid of that. That's so necessary.
If they need a doctor's note or something, they should get medical clearance to this is the reason why the child cannot stand in line.
Yeah.
And so we do things that we know that he's going to be able to enjoy and that are not going to bother him. And outside of that stuff, which is, we've got it down packed now because we learn more every single day. He's just such a sweet and loving child who has taught me. Sergio. I was afraid I'd forget my name at some point in the future, so I named him after myself. or maybe I named myself after him. I'm not sure how. I just introduced them to a movie, Back to the Future, so it could be kind of a time continuum kind of thing.
Hey, why not? Hey, what's your daughter's name?
Stasia, Stazia.
Sergio and Stasia. Okay, so I just want to go back to this book because I will tell you, I've had like 5 different conversations in the last 3 weeks of either parents and or adults that have like a young one that just got diagnosed with autism. Back to the numbers, I have to bring this up because there is a problem happening, and it's a very big one. We've had experts on the show from a company called Brain Balance, which has actually helped others on a different severe disorder to Asperger's, savants, and to be able to kind of do brain working theory with body mind experience. So I've really done a lot of research on this, but the question always begs itself is, what do you feel it is? Because I understand you are doing a lot when it comes to pharmaceuticals from overprescribing medication. I did share earlier, I remember one of my very first introductions to those kids with autism was a discussion I had with actor Aidan Quinn, who talked about his child who, after a particular vaccination shot, nothing to do with coronavirus, the child developed autism directly thereafter. And there's many parents that have said, whoa, they may believe in vaccinations, but there's something about too much, too soon, too early might do something to the human brain. But what's your feeling on that?
When it comes to my concern with overprescribing medication, I got sick and I was overprescribed medication. I was prescribed about 80 pills a day. I'm 6'5.5". I dropped down to 135 pounds, 26-inch waist. Had liver and kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
Doctor simply just told my wife to prepare for my funeral. And they're all surprised because of the fact that I'm alive. Another actor, Isai Morales, is a good friend of mine. He communicated with my wife and started introducing her to other doctors, friends of his. They had 3-way calls. I was, having seizures or, passed out, in the other room, in my room, because I couldn't move. And Isai introduced her had conversations with doctors in Chicago and other friends of his, doctors in North Carolina. And I was transferred out of the hospital that I was at the point. And instead of getting shot up with Dilaudid, with 8 milligrams of Dilaudid every 3 hours, I was getting shot up with vitamins. And that's the reason I stayed alive. Wow. And so with regards to, opioids, very much have an issue with regards to, the overprescribing of medication there. As a parent with a child with autism, we have been absolutely told, here, try this medication, give your child this medication. We have chosen not to. And because if there's no cure, I don't necessarily see for myself as a parent. It's a very personal thing whether or not I make the decision to drug my.
And there's some that are very addicting to the children. I mean, if you look at some of these chemical, it's equivalent almost to some very bad illegal drugs, if you know what I mean. If you look at some of these, so
Ritalin is the pharmaceutical version of cocaine.
Yeah.
So
someone even say meth.
Well, absolutely. Adderall is another pharmaceutical version of cocaine. Opioids is the pharmaceutical version of heroin. So that's why we have this, heroin epidemic that's coming because of the opioids. It's easy, with regarding who we blame the Latino cartel for bringing heroin into this country, but it was the American doctors that were absolutely overprescribing opioids. It's easy to blame whether or not vaccines are the cause. There's no definitive, and I choose not to focus on how my son got autistic, because if I do that, I forget. There's only I only get 24 hours in a day. And there's only so much energy that I have when I'm conscious that I can use. And I can choose to focus that energy on
books,
getting angry at vaccines, getting angry at manufacturers, wondering whether or not who's to blame for this, or I can move forward and, be a good dad, provide for my family, take care of everybody that's needed, send my love and my energy their direction, send my love to you, your sister, and your family. Mr. Sanchez, that's kind of what I choose to focus on. If there was definitive that vaccines were the cause of autism, I would be on the front line. But right now, I don't have time for that. I personally am not spending any time on that debate.
Yeah, and it's a back and forth. It really is. I will say the research is there. I've done some research. If you go one way, all of a sudden you're an anti-vaxxer. If you go another way, you're a proponent of evil. So I just find myself to have at least the discussion there and go, but you don't have to live with it.
Absolutely.
You have to live with it. Then all of a sudden, so. But my point is this: congratulations to you and your family for making it work. It is currently available. Where can people go?
My business partner is a dad. I'm a dad. The company's called Dad's Publishing. We know that moms do all the work with the kids. But it's dadspublishing.com. We're available only as ebooks right now on Apple, Amazon, Kobo, and Google until the pandemic is over. Then we'll probably put them out. Then we'll definitely put them out as hardcovers. I'm not sure when that will be. But, my love goes to Aiden and his family. I'm sorry that, that they're dealing with that issue, and to all the families that have a child with autism and disabilities. But Dad's Publishing, DADS, publishing.com.
And I will say, again, as an example to other fathers out there, be a present father. Don't walk away. And it could be stressful for the entire family. But when you learn to work together and you get the right information, I will say you can do a lot of good. I will say congratulations to your son for working through whatever it is he works through. What's his favorite thing to do usually that makes him happy? And what's his favorite comfort food?
I don't want to show off, but I was able to get a PS5 for him for Christmas.
I guarantee
it's friends of friends.
Okay.
That's one of the pros. That's one of the pros about writing children's books.
Does he like coding, or does he enjoy like building and or designing game worlds?
He wants to do that. He wants to do that as a career.
You should investigate that. Pursue that with him. He's really good creatively.
He's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. It's
and it'll focus him.
Nail on the head. And and to families, instead of blaming, if supporting each other, husbands and wives, spouses, husbands and husbands, or wives and wives, whoever, whatever the dynamic is, support each other, lean on each other, because the alternative just stinks. It is absolutely a waste of time and a waste of energy, and doesn't help anybody. So if there's support, the marriage, the union becomes stronger, or you'll get a divorce. It goes one way or the other, and make it stronger. We have enough pain in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. For your kids' need. Sometimes I say, and as difficult as it is, I'm so glad he has you as a father than a neglectful father or a father that says, I have no time. I say to those people, okay, I'll give you an example. I have to say this one. There was one young child, because again, with you will get the truth, bar none, from a child with autism, correct? Very literal, very obvious, very like, if your breath stinks, they'll say your breath stinks, okay, and not hold back, right? I heard one young child who I think he's 8. He told his father, who's a very absent father, "What are you doing here? We don't like you here. Can you go? Because I have things to do." And I was like, I heard this from the mother, because she's like, the father's an absentee father. Don't be like that. The child will call you out to your face. So I say better to have honesty than not have honesty, right?
My children didn't choose to come into this world. It was a decision that was made to have children. If you accidentally get pregnant, there are things you can do. So don't give me the I didn't choose to have children excuse. That's ridiculous. And the children are dependent on you as a parent. That's something I understood. I wanted my children, and they are dependent on me. I love them. Every morning I give them a kiss and a hug. All day I give them hugs. I go to them. When I make a mistake, I apologize. Being absent, or being a father that's there, I call that being a dad. I call that what you should do as a dad, and moms being moms. And that's the difference between a father and a dad, and a mother and a mom. The father provides, the dad is there on the emotional level.
Yeah.
So
I will say this: on social media, Maria says every child is a gift from God. We all are the same deep down. Stephanie Reed says, I know I used to have a speech delay. The only 2 words I couldn't properly say is squirrel. And when I say my last name, Reed, sounds like I say weed. I am and been going to voice lessons to properly say the words. So I've seen Stephanie again. She talks about being or having autism and working through that. She does media. And she watches our show very regularly. So thank you again for speaking, truth there.
She can go ahead and be president of the United States. The president of the United States has a speech impediment. He has a stutter. So the only reason you will be held back is because you choose to. If anybody tells you you cannot achieve, it's because they're only telling you that they themselves were not able to achieve that.
I like that. That's true.
If it's, with my son and the next step, doctor saying he's not going to be able to do this. With regards to, my daughter, he's not going to be able to. With myself, he's going to be dead. Prepare for his funeral. If I choose to believe that, because I will set my own destiny. You set your own destiny, and don't listen to anybody else tell you what, listen to everybody else tell you what they were not able to achieve. Doesn't mean it's not possible. So that was Stephanie.
Yeah.
I look forward to vote. I look forward to voting for her when she runs for president.
Mario says this poor man's story is so touching. I will buy his book for sure. Algenia says familia need each other. Love is the key that opens the door for growth. As a parent, communicate and say I'm sorry. And then this interesting. She mistyped, but she meant not audio. She meant autism. Regarding autism, I'm blessed with 2 incredible grandsons. They're different levels of this. Good. One works, functions, but can't focus. He works. Graduated from high school and was the water boy on the football team. His condition wouldn't allow them to let him play, something he wanted since his brothers were and our team captains. He tells me he's so sad because he wants to drive, but he might never be able to drive on his own. The other is so kind. His issue is focusing. We unfortunately are out of time, but I will say this. Thank you very much for spending time with us. Check it out. It's His Own Way, available, dadspublishing.com. Thank you. Make it a great day. Remember, life is worth living, especially when you got a good family together, right?
Lots of love to your listeners. Lots of love to you, Mr. Sanchez.
All right, you too. Bye-bye, everyone.
And thank you.
And for the rest of you tuning in, joining us, you know what? Let me keep you just a little bit longer, Sergio. It's just our radio audience had to go on to another break. But let me just keep you here for a minute because I know you had some more that you wanted to say, and I hate cutting off, but we were against a very hard break right there. For those tuning in again, what were you going to say? You were going to say something kind of important.
Oh, wow. I think, I think it was about the relationships. Having a child with a disability either makes the relationship stronger or you get a divorce. And it's, at the very end of the day, I just want to say, it makes or breaks. It shows the character that, having a child with a disability does not do anything more than show your true character as an individual. And if it wasn't for the childhood and Ellen Bradley, who entered my life when I was at a group home as a kid, I wouldn't have the tools. And it's something that I was very much touched, but to have somebody, believe in me and, and have faith in me in my own way. And to all your listeners, lots of love to all of you. And, we all do things in our own way. If it's Stephanie running for president with, understanding now that she can, or whatever the case may be. And don't forget the siblings. Of course, the child with a disability is, well, obviously we don't forget, we don't ignore, but it's the other child to not forget. There's too much weight that I put on my daughter's shoulders, too much. She had to learn how to grow up really quickly in that 1 year between the ages of 5 and 6. And that's when I was like, I was kicking myself. I just took incredible responsibility. And I was like, wow, I failed as a dad this year with her. And by taking responsibility, up for it
every single day, I can almost guarantee.
Absolutely. By taking responsibility, acknowledging the problem, taking responsibility, then I can move forward and make sure that I make up for it every single day of her life since. And, and then spread this book and, and then write this book. And, she's the one that edits. She reads all my books before they go out to anybody else. And, she gave the stamp of approval for this book. So
good. Well, keep it up. I know you got other places to be. You got another interview coming up. So get ready for that one. Thank you very much for spending time with us. And we appreciate you and your entire family, especially your son. Okay. Give him my
Tantas gracias, Señor Sanchez.
Adios.
Ciao.
And for the rest of you tuning in, yes, maybe you have a situation where you're thinking, you know what, I need some additional help, because it could be difficult for parents that have special need children, whether it be autism, Asperger's, or any other label that it is, ADHD, ADD. It could be a rough ride, guaranteed. But it takes special adults and parents to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go and become proactive, and I'm going to make things happen for each other. Okay, so it's been my duty to, from time to time, include very, very important discussions, whether it be Autism Speaks, which is a great organization, has been at a couple of their events, and or Shane's Inspiration, which builds playgrounds for kids with special needs. There's been a lot of organizations that have come into my sphere of influence. I recently had a conversation with Elizabeth Espinoza, who you will know on KTLA, who also has a brother with autism and special needs, very severely profound. But, either way, we were talking about how many of the kids right now, and I call kids or young adults or older adults, I still call them kids, because I will say, developmentally, sometimes they need additional help. I don't think like certain ones with Asperger's and or they probably wouldn't care to be called kids that are full grown adults. But and my way of saying, sometimes we have to remember we're all kids at some point, no matter how old you are. I think I saw somebody saying, I don't know how to act my age. She was like 48, dancing like a goofball on Reels on Instagram. I immediately says, you know what, you're acting your age. Keep it up, because don't let people tell you how. And look, I get it at the work environment, and if you were like, in a very serious situation, there's a time and place. But learn to see it from your child's point of view. I will say this: I didn't get a chance to go into this book and or the details of it, but according to the press release, it talked about how he himself, as a father, began to see the world from his daughter's perspective. And in so doing, let's see, it says here, one morning while his daughter was lying on the living room floor, barely able to lift her head, Sergio got the curiosity of lying down next to her and seeing the world from her perspective. He saw that the dining table was nothing but four legs holding something up, that the chairs were also just legs holding something up, and that the couch was this long thing that made no sense. It was at this moment when he realized that he must appear as a giant to his infant daughter. And after observing his surroundings from her perspective, he ran over to his office, poured out his first book, Little Itty Bitty's First Day, which he happened to have nicknamed his young daughter. Since then, Itty Bitty had a teeny younger brother who's autistic that became the inspiration to Sergio's new book, His Own Way, which has been released as of March. In his books, he's got quite a few there. If you feel lost and alone, go read Little Itty Bitty's First Day. Are you feeling like a financial failure? Then go read The Greatest Christmas Ever. And do you feel like you might be going insane due to the lockdown? Then read Little Itty Bitty's Fly Me to the Moon. And then there's other prescriptions in the form of illustrated and exceptionally well told children's books like this one, My Mommy and Daddy's My Mom, which is inspired by the kidnapping of his first son by his mom, which is also going to be released in 2021. So interesting stuff there. But again, focus on what's good in your life, focus on what helps your life and what goes forward. Again, this particular book, if you're wondering, just go to dadspublishing.com and you can check it out there. It's a 38-page illustrated book, and it's dedicated to those who feel invisible. Remember, you are very much seen. So I think that is enough to say, good job, keep it up, keep doing that. And there you go. For the rest of you tuning in, I want to say thank you. Let's see. Maria says, have an awesome day. Everyone got to go to work. And Katya says, yes, everyone take care. And everyone be careful. Oh, also says, God bless you. Thank you for being a guest on the show. Yes, telling your story. Yes. We appreciate you. Thank you for being there. Algenia says this. I used to take care of the Rothschild grandkids with disabilities when I was a little younger as a caregiver. They're intelligent than most parents give them credit. There are other illnesses that may cause them not to understand, do things, but they do things expressions to understand their world for that moment. So there you go, which is true. Enjoy the young ones and enjoy those that, of course, try to do the right thing by their families. Don't walk away. Be there present for your son and or daughter and learn to make things work out, whatever you've been handed. and or they've been ended. Remember, they got their life. They got to give them the tools that they need to keep growing. All right, bye-bye, everyone.